The following is a pre-recorded show. Welcome to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers, certified financial planner professional and founder of Akers Financial Group. Now, helping you win in your retirement, here's Brian Akers.
Good morning and welcome to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers. Here with me today is Jeff Akers. We are financial advisors, certified financial planner practitioners from Akers Financial Group. And we're the hosts of Akers Financial Group. The show's called Winning in Retirement. And Jeff's been winning at Akers Financial Group for many years. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Brian.
So we've been working together for 23, and you've been... I was going to say something nice, but I can't really get it out. You've been there since I was born, so I appreciate that.
Well, I haven't been there since you were born, but you've been there since I was born.
I want to make it so that it sounds like you're older than me.
We're cousins, so we have to make fun of each other, and it's hard to say something nice about each other.
It's easy to say something nice. I love your wife, Len.
And I love Jeannie.
Yeah. All right. So moving right along to winning in retirement. All right. You want to win in your retirement years. Now, that's a comment we make a lot on the radio show. Today, we're going to talk about things about how you do that practically. How do you make sure that you're going to continue to win or achieve what you want to do in your retirement years? So what Jeff and I have done is put together a show called Make the Tough Decisions Now. What we're going to talk about is the process of looking at the worst case things and handling and the preventions that we can provide wherever we can, and then building a retirement plan to invest for your lifetime, to make the money last a lifetime, to accomplish all the goals that you have so that you can be winning in retirement and know that you're going to be winning in retirement. Sounds like a show you can get all done within an hour?
Well, we're going to get it done within an hour,
but we're not going
to hit everything.
There's no way to cover all of it, but we're going to hit the topics basically.
But like I told someone yesterday, that's why I'm here. Just come see me.
Yep. And that's Jeff Akers. Jeff Akers, you've been working with me for a long time, but you're a certified financial planner, which makes you a financial advisor through your registration as a investment advisor representative. So you do planning, and you do fee-based planning, and we do fee money management, and then we also have a commission side depending on what is the very best thing for the client.
And all the things that Brian just said about me apply to him as well.
Okay. All right. So, Jeff, you're a planner.
Right.
All right. The first question I have to ask is this. Do you spend more time planning your vacation or planning your retirement plan?
That's a mean question because planning the vacation is fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, but sometimes planning for retirement, it's like it's just more tedious, it feels like.
Well, when you think about it, it's wonderful. Oh, yeah, I'm going to retire. Yeah. And then the reality of retiring is different. It's like, I'm going to actually retire. Yeah, what do I do? How do we do this?
There's dreaming about retirement, then there's planning to make it turn into the dream.
Yeah, and then doing all the work it takes to get there. Right. Some people, it's natural for them to be a saver, to put the future ahead of everything else, to say no to things. Regular Americans, but regular Americans, saving's a hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just from the government on down, credit card debt is hitting new highs, and so that saver, it's become a lost art a little bit.
Right, and so our general topic is this. Make the tough decisions now. Let's not put things off. Now, I know in life it's easy to put the hard things off. Let's not do that today. The stock market's down. I'm not going to open that statement this week. I'm going to wait till I know it's up, then I'll look at it again. Not facing these hard things in life.
Well, something that helps me, especially when it's tackling hard things, is to have a list and to say, okay, here's the first thing that I need to do. And once I check that off, I can get to the next one.
Sure.
And so in financial planning, I have a list that says the first thing I have to do is take care of my family. Mm-hmm. And so in taking care of my family, I'm looking at, well, what if something bad happens to me? How is my family going to be taken care of? Which means the things that we don't like to think about, like life insurance and disability and all that kind of thing. But that's the first thing that we've got to kind of get knocked out.
Yeah, let's cover that first, one idea about disability. Now, the reality is most people think, that's going to happen to someone else, not to me. I don't need to worry about it.
Right.
And reality is that we need to do a little bit of worrying and make sure we do something about disability to have a plan if you cannot work your same job the next day.
Right. And the nice thing is when you have the plan, then you don't have to worry anymore.
Right. So a worst case scenario, you think of one and then you say, well, what's the solution for it? Is there a way to plan for it? To plan, well, if this goes wrong, I have this. So the first example would be if someone's disabled, short-term or long-term, they have to have a plan. What kind of plans would help people if they're disabled?
Right. So if you start a new job, a lot of times they throw a bunch of papers in front of you and you check the benefits that you want and everything. And sometimes one of those benefits is going to be disability insurance, long-term, short-term. And so we believe that it's important to look at that and probably, I can never say 100% of the time, but probably take that disability insurance. Yeah. That way, if something happens where you can't go to work the next day, there's still going to be money coming in to pay the bills because the bills don't stop just because you became disabled.
Normally, the reason not to might be if you're 64 or almost 65, where the coverage stops at 65, where you just want to try to cover. The other reason would be if you just weren't thinking about the costs. Now, short-term and long-term, some companies will provide short-term for free, and then long-term will cost you. The reason they have you pay for it is so that the benefit would be tax-free for you down the road.
Right.
That $5 a pay or $5 a month is greatly worth it for that day when there's a car accident or if there's an accident playing a sport or if there's an accident doing anything, and you become immediately disabled for 6 months to a year or whatever happens.
Right. And sometimes health issues come up that cause a disability from sort of out of nowhere.
Sure.
I've seen folks that they discover that they had multiple sclerosis. And so eventually they've reached a point where they couldn't work, or Parkinson's disease starts to set in.
I had a client where their medicine they had for their whole life just stopped working for them. And then they had to address that before they could work again. They had to take about 1.5 years off to figure that out.
Right.
So we're not trying to depress you with worst case scenarios, but we are talking about when good planning, when you're doing it right, you got to handle the tough things. The tough thing is, yes, we need some insurance during times of our life, especially the younger we are. We need things that are going to ruin our plan. You think about it, well, if everything goes perfectly right, most people can make their plan.
Oh, yeah.
But we have to be ready for the times that things don't work out.
Right. And so on my little checklist, disability insurance is one of them. Another one's going to be an emergency fund, just having cash available for the short term at least.
Yeah, so the foundations of financial planning that I really like to push out there, there's really the first three. One is about protecting your family with the right insurance. A lot of that's provided through your work. If your work does not provide it, you can buy it on your own. Then you build an emergency fund. Emergency fund, what are the purposes of an emergency fund, Jeff?
Well, anything that goes wrong where you're not going to have the income that you're used to. Sometimes if you own the house and something breaks, you've got to pay for it. So that might be one emergency.
So if someone does not have an emergency fund, what happens?
They charge it on a credit card.
All right. And then the credit card, does that get paid off or does that keep going?
Oh, no. It just continues to accrue interest and you're making minimum payments because you don't have the income that you needed to take care of it.
Yeah. When you think about many of the bankruptcies that are out there in America, a lot of them occur because something went wrong. A bad car accident in a car where they had it fully in debt and they got the payment from the insurance company for a lot less than they owed, and they end up going deep in debt for that. They get upside down on that kind of loan. Or they get real sick and can't work for a month or 2 months or longer, or they can't handle a certain job because of what it does to them, hurts them too much.
Right.
These type of things you got to sort of plan for. So imagine that we're getting ready for our retirement. One of the things we have to understand is we need to save for our retirement. We have to have income to grow it. That's what disability insurance provides, is basically replaces your income if we cannot work. It completes the concept of bringing money in when we need it most.
Right. So that brings another purpose for the emergency fund is what if you get laid off? You might not be sick or have an accident or anything, but it could just be that you lost your job and now you need some money to float until you can get the next job.
Absolutely. And the economy, as it goes up and down, things cycle through. There are certain jobs that could possibly people be asked to retire earlier than they expected. You need to have an emergency to try to find that next job. And we usually recommend at least 6 months of savings for that.
Right. And so it's important to have something in place for each bad thing that could come up. I'll call them bad surprises, but whether it's a disability, a job loss, or or whatever. It's important to have something in place to cover that so that then that doesn't end up destroying your future plans for retirement down the road.
Yeah, so you're driving down the road and you're thinking, oh, do I have disability insurance? I haven't looked at that paper in years. Well, look at your pay stub and see if it shows up on there. LTD, ST for short term. What kind of, is that the way it would show up on payroll?
Yeah, that's usually LTD, and I know STD has more than one meaning, but in this case, it's short-term disability.
Could you explain that meaning to us, Jeff?
No.
We're live on radio. We can't do that.
That's right.
All right, back to short-term disability. Sometimes it might not show up because it's just brought to you by the company. But not every company has that.
Sometimes the company will say, here's the things that the company's paying for you. So even though it doesn't come out of your check, you want to look at that and see what benefits you're getting.
Whenever your open enrollment period is, look at the papers.
Yes.
If you have a financial advisor, like Acres Financial Group, you would call them and say, here's my benefits. This is what I elected. Is there anything else I need to make a election for or choose?
Right. What can I do?
Yeah.
Or what should I do?
And that's a very good thing when we're trying to basically do a financial plan that's going to help you handle the worst case scenarios and then plan for the best, to plan for those golden years, to plan for those times when you will need money for things you want to do, not because, things went wrong and you have to have it.
Right. But we have to take care of the things that could go wrong. Then we can start planning for the fun things down the road.
It sounds easy, Jeff, but is that easy?
Mentally, no, it's not easy.
Okay.
But, well, I really think that if we can get those bad things kind of taken care of, then we don't have to worry about them.
Sure.
That just reduces our stress and lets us think about the good things.
If you enjoy worrying, you can worry about something else.
There are those people.
Right. If you like to worry about certain things, you can always worry about something else by checking off a box and, yes, I got that covered. Let's work on the next one.
Right.
And that's good, solid planning. At Acres Financial Group, we're local. We're independent. We don't report to a big company on Wall Street. We report to you. We do have offices in Lutherville and Forest Hill, clients all around the Mid-Atlantic region, all around the country, and even a few around the world. It's so easy to begin winning in retirement. Just give us a call and schedule your meeting with one of our team of advisors. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting. Go to acresfinancialgroup.com or call us at 833-946-7384 to start planning for your retirement now. You can go to acresfinancialgroup.com, scroll right down, and fill out the information and send it to us, and we'll get right back to you. If something happened to you, is your family financially ready? We'll talk about it in a moment.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Yes, welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers, and today I have with me Jeff Akers, Vice President, Certified Financial Planner Practitioner from Acres Financial Group. Jeff, you ready for the second quarter?
Oh, yes.
You've actually studied for this one.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely, I know you.
Over the last 20 years.
Absolutely. So for those who have been listening, this show is called Make the Tough Decisions Now. So if you haven't been listening, you're hearing this Make the Tough Decision Now, why would they talk about things like this? In good, solid financial planning to help you win in your retirement years, you have to make some very tough decisions right now. Mm-hmm. And some of those tough decisions have to do with the worst case scenarios of life.
Right.
And we brought up disability. Now, what is one of the worst fears that people have when it comes to planning?
Yeah, well, one of them is dying prematurely and not getting to enjoy retirement. Right. But the other part of that is, a husband and wife and one person dies. Well, now the survivor, what's their retirement going to look like? Mm-hmm. So it becomes a worst case scenario in a way for the survivor.
Because many times in basic planning, what you do is you put down they're both going to live to 90, 92.
Right.
And run the money out and everything looks
looks wonderful.
Golden.
Golden, there you go.
That was the word. I got stuck there. Golden because they think that it's going to be always that perfect path.
Right. We're both going to live to 90 and everything looks great.
The hardest part we've had in their careers is that it doesn't always work out that way for families.
No.
We don't really control that.
Right.
We don't know our date of death. We don't know how long we're going to live. We don't know how we're going to be able to be around if there's one spouse and what that one spouse would be, no matter what scenario. Like if I had a client come in the other day where the husband's 52, the wife's 38, and she's already thinking, oh, in my retirement years, my husband might not be there.
Right.
Who's going to take care of me? Right.
It's kind of like the best case scenario is she's a caretaker.
Correct. A caretaker at the very end, and then all of a sudden she needs someone to take care of her, and she didn't have children, so she said, what's going to happen? I need money for that. And I said, well, because we're bringing it up now as a 38-year-old, we can talk about the insurance options that could provide for chronic or critical care, for nursing care down the road. And it's a lot cheaper the younger you buy it. You can have that as part of the building your plan for that future.
Right. Figuring out what's the worst thing that could happen and how do I take care of it. Another worst thing, if you're ready.
Sure.
is, husband and wife, they get ready to retire and they're looking through their options, and this comes up on the pension a lot, and they'll say, oh, well, this is the highest one. And so they check that box for their pension. And what they've just done is they've taken a life-only option for the husband. And so they're going to get the most money possible as long as he's alive.
Right.
But when he dies, all that money goes away. And the wife was depending on that for retirement. And now it's gone.
Yeah, because they assume, well, they'll live at least 10, 15 years and we'll be all right because we have other money. But then you don't really realize you have to run planning scenarios the following way. One is we both live to 90. The second one is what if you die tomorrow?
Right.
And so planning to make a tough decision now, you need to plan as if you might pass away tomorrow. And what does it look like? Now, this is part of a good financial plan. That's what we run the numbers for our clients, a survivorship analysis to see what would actually happen. So let me give you a little scenario, Jeff. We have a client, husband and wife. One has a pension, and then there's Social Security.
Okay.
Now, generally, that's 3 sources of income. What happens after the first person passes away?
So if the first person had the pension, then depends on the pension option they took, but that might go away completely. It might have checked an option where you get to keep it.
Or cut in half.
Or it could be cut in half.
And some of these government pensions now, that's the only option is 50% or 55%, and you don't get 100%.
It's kind of the default option.
Oh, you're going to be fine on half the money.
Right, right. But then Social Security, sometimes one's got a higher benefit than the other, and they think, oh, well, if the one with the higher benefit dies, then I'm going to jump up and I'm going to get their benefit, which is true, but you're not going to get your own benefit. So your Social Security is going to be reduced by a third.
Right. As soon as the death is reported, the funeral home calls Social Security.
Right. Yeah, that one's taken care of.
That's nice of them. And then Social Security says, well, what day did they pass away? And then they do the calculation and they pull extra money out right back to them.
If they've made a payment that the person wasn't entitled to, they just pull it back out of that account.
Immediately. There's no form to sign.
No.
They just pull it.
Yeah, you realize it when you check the bank statement. You're like, where'd that money go? Back to Social Security.
Right. So if we have a sudden death and people are retired, the idea of 3 income sources cutting to 2 or cutting to 1.5 is a reality for a lot of people when their spouse dies too early.
Right. And we don't like to think about it, but people pass away in their 50s. Some people pass away even younger in their 30s and 40s. And we all think it'll be someone else. But
generally what happens if a couple was making $100,000 and let's say they were all privately funded through IRAs and withdrawals, so it's going to still be there after the first death. That $100,000 married, it's a 12% tax bracket. Mm-hmm. But if the person passes away the next year, you have to file single, and all of a sudden you're at a 22% bracket or 24%.
And you might have less income.
Yeah.
And you're still in a higher bracket.
Right. The tax is doubled on them.
Right.
And so the reality of the bring home pay is a lot less. So the reality of thinking, when I retired, things are just fine. You have to make a tough decision on, do you need life insurance? And what if one of you passes away immediately? What would happen to the money and how would it work out?
Right. And I was just thinking about someone years ago. They were young, they had kids, and the husband passed away. Well, now, how do you care for the kids as well? So you've got to start this planning even when you're young. Mm-hmm. Really, as soon as you get married, you got to start, and then have kids, you've got to continue that plan.
Yeah, we've had scenarios where we're working with the client, and then the client's kids, one of their kids passed away, and all of a sudden they're helping with their own grandkids, and in some cases they end up having their grandkids at their house and being part of raising another family again because of situations in the family. So imagine that you're doing your own planning, but you can't do planning for everyone in your family. You can't have it all organized for them all. But life would change if your responsibilities change, because people aren't going to shy away from taking care of their family. They're going to say, I'll do what I have to do. And sometimes that means you have to retire early to take care of someone sick or someone that needs care, such as a grandchild or caregiving for an elderly parent. You know, those are reasons people retire early, is because they have to.
Right. Life circumstances change. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so we need to be ready and prepared for as much as we can.
So we want you to be financially independent. That means you work because you want to, not because you have to. If you're truly financially independent, you could retire at any point in time, but it also means that you're ready to retire if you had to, or if some other change in life happens immediately, you're ready. But also, we're trying to plan to handle whichever scenario it does happen. Tough decisions are, do we buy the insurance? Do we buy insurance that's term, or buy something that's more longer term that has cash value that costs more, but it will be around longer? It'll be around into my retirement years. Should I keep that? There are some tough decisions that all cost money.
Right. Brian talked before about the retirement analysis where we're looking at to age 90, but there's also a survivorship analysis of what happens if one or the other dies right away. How does the other one get by to age 90?
Right.
So it's important to do both of those analyses.
I love people planning and saving for retirement. Now, I do not recommend that all of your money is thrown to your future. I highly recommend that you balance your life between now and the future. You do not just save for one point in life. You enjoy your debt today and you enjoy your tomorrow. Now, most people will end up doing everything to enjoy today, even over budget, and that's why credit cards build up so fast.
Right.
But the idea is you want to have a balance between today and tomorrow. Retiring an extra year early and not doing any trips currently, I don't think that's the right way to do it. You don't know what year you're going to not be able to travel anymore based on how your legs work or your knees or whatever you did to them over your lifetime.
Whatever your body says.
Well, the more sports you played, probably going to have some issues down the road.
The younger it is when you don't travel anymore.
Or, yeah, it's harder to travel. I was going to say some stereotypes, but I'm not going to do that. Well, generally, what happens in retirement years is the husband and wife travel together for a few years, and then all of a sudden the husband doesn't go as often, the wife keeps traveling. And then we have a phase of life when you go to doctors more than you travel, and then basically stop traveling altogether. Now, this all costs different levels of money, but also involves the idea you have to be healthy enough to travel, healthy financially and physically. So I love the balance of doing some now and some later. You don't want to just postpone every type of thing and say, oh, I'm going to do that in retirement. Right. Do some now.
It's okay to have some short-term, I'll say traveling goals in this case, but short-term goals where you want to plan that vacation and do something fun now, not at the expense of planning for retirement, but at the same time, we want to be able to take advantage of things while we can.
We've actually seen scenarios where people save hard their whole life, and then one of them will pass away that first year of retirement and not get to enjoy all the things they had planned.
Right. And I've met with wives mostly that say, well, this was a trip that we had always planned on doing. Now I guess I'll do it myself.
Yeah, and then that's a very tough person that can handle that.
Right.
But it's a reality of planning. And so tough decisions are deciding right now, how would your family handle this kind of situation? What do you need to make sure everyone's taken care of in the worst case scenario? This is what we do at Acres Financial Group when it comes to planning. Because at Acres Financial Group, everything we do is going to be about you. Your retirement is as unique as your fingerprint. When you sit down with us, we start by taking a look at your financial fingerprint. We talk about you and where you are right now and what is your net worth, how do you invest, how much are you earning. Then we talk about what you want to make your retirement look like and how it feel like. That's your retirement fingerprint. Perhaps you've been sold something, regardless of whether you needed it or not. Not at Acres Financial Group. With us, your retirement money follows your financial fingerprint. It's a retirement plan based on your unique fingerprint that determines where your money goes. It's not about us, it's about you. So go ahead and give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE and schedule an in-person or Zoom meeting with one of our team of advisors. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE, 833-946-7384, or visit our website at acresfinancialgroup.com. Scroll down to the bottom of our homepage and schedule a meeting right there. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE and go to acresfinancialgroup.com. We just talked about the worst case scenarios. Now it's time to talk about how to invest for a lifetime. And we'll do that when we return.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome to Winning in Retirement. This is Brian Akers. Here with me today is Jeff Akers. We're starting the second half, so I thought I'd pretend like we're just starting a show brand new again, Jeff. So You're coming out of the locker room ready to go?
Oh, yeah. We've got to be.
You stretch out a little bit?
Not really, but I had some orange slices.
Orange slices, yeah. I've been the coach for so long, I end up just talking at halftime and just run out on the court right before the third quarter starts. So coming up with the game plan and going just seems to be the MO for me.
Right. That's your role.
All right. So speaking of coaching, many times you have to make tough decisions in life. Now, in coaching and games or in the financial planning type plan, you really, truly have to make tough decisions. Now, we've been talking about worst case scenarios, and we brought up a couple of them, disability and death. There's lots of other worst case scenarios that can occur that you can make sure you have enough emergency fund or the right amount of insurance to cover certain things. And then there's the ways that you handle them. They're all part of planning. Now, what I usually say in a seminar or these events that we have, what I normally say is this. You handle your worst case scenarios as if you might pass away tomorrow, and then you want to invest for a lifetime.
Right.
Because we don't know when we're actually going to pass away. We don't know if we have 20-year retirement, 30-year, 40-year. We just need to plan what it might look like and make sure our money lasts beyond what we do.
Right. In this case, we want to act like we're going to live forever.
Sure.
And we need that money to keep coming in for as long as we're alive. So how do we do that?
Yeah, how do we do that, Jeff? So someone walks in and they have their current plan through work. They've saved. They've built up all this money. They have some money at bank. They're working on paying things off. What's that next step in planning to try to figure out how to make money last for a lifetime?
Right. So we want to start with income. Where is their income going to come from in retirement? And are there ways that we can set that up so that we know it will be there? We don't have to worry about it.
Sure. So we got to do a basic budget type thing of inflow and outflow, money coming in, money going out.
Right.
I think it's one of the most important things in retirement years is knowing what money will be coming in and what your bills are, so you know what you need.
Right. So I usually start talking to people about two types of investments. There's protected investments that have guarantees, they're insured. And then there's risk investments that don't have those guarantees. They can go up and down. Mm-hmm. And we need to strike a balance between those two. We're not going to earn as much on the protected, but they're going to be there. Mm-hmm. We have the potential to earn more on the risk investments, but we want to make sure that those are things we're not going to need for a longer time period, 10 years down the road or so.
If you're a very successful saver, you might have money that you might not need to take income from, so you can let it grow. Warren Buffett had a saying years ago, basically saying that why risk money on money that you don't need?
Right.
So why would you take extra risk with that extra money? Well, some people do it to grow it.
Right. They just
to build legacy. They'll take risk. But the reality is we don't really have to take risk if we have extra savings. We can build it over time. So in the scenario we're talking about here is trying to make the money you have to get everything we can out of it to give you the income and that money for now and for later. What aspects do we have to be concerned about in planning when you're thinking about this?
Well, we have to worry is the wrong word, but we have to think about the economy. We have to think about if we're going to have risk investments, what's the market going to do? It goes up, but it goes down.
Mm-hmm.
We've all seen that. So we want to make sure that we don't have more in the market than we can afford to have there. And the money that we do have there, we want to make sure that it's going to be a long-term investment. We want 10 years, 15 years down the road, because we're planning like we're going to live forever. Mm-hmm. So even if we're 70, it's okay to have some money that's in the market, because if we live to 90, that's 20 years out.
Absolutely. Now, in their protected side, we use some annuities that have income riders. Mm-hmm. These income riders provide payments for as long as people live, but if they die too early, there'd still be money left in the policy to pay a benefit.
Right. Yeah, the income rider could be joint for a husband and wife, so as long as one of them's alive, it'll keep paying. That's like the pension option with a joint and 100% survivor. But if both were to pass away, then whatever's left in the annuity still goes to your beneficiaries if you're thinking about legacy.
Right. And so I was trying to figure out, well, how do you tell people what to do? Well, the hardest part is this. We don't know your exact answer unless we meet with you.
Right.
And we have that personal, the free meeting we offer is that you sit down and find out, what do you need it to do?
Right.
There are ways to bring your income even higher by making some very tough decisions. And one of them could be choosing an annuity pension payout on your life only, because it gives you that extra couple $100 a month for you to survive. And we've had some scenarios like that.
Right.
That's not the perfect scenario. We'd rather have other buckets of money. But sometimes annuitization or choosing a single life pension is the only way to survive financially for someone.
Right. So we've got to look at your situation and then do the best that we can to make that last a lifetime.
I love tax-free, and people probably hear me say that all the time.
Every show.
We want to make money last a lifetime. Hey, let's make it last tax-free for a lifetime.
That's right.
If it's tax-free, no one gets any piece of it but you and your family. Mm-hmm. I think that's a great way to build your wealth over time. So sometimes you have to make a tough decision and pay tax now to build a portfolio of Roth, of tax-free money. That could be Roth, life insurance, something that's tax-free, right, and let that grow so you can use that whenever you need it without having to pay anybody.
Right. So with the Roth, you're putting money in after tax. You're not getting that deduction right now. But down the road, what you put in plus whatever it grows to can come out tax-free. The other way to get money into Roth is if you've saved for years and years and years to a 401k or TSP or something, and it's all been tax deferred, so you're going to pay tax on it eventually. You can convert some of that to a Roth IRA. You don't have to do it all at once, but when you do the conversion, you pay the tax now, and then that money is going to be tax-free for the rest of your life.
All right, so the idea here is this. We've talked about worst-case scenarios, and then now you got to plan for the best. Plan for the rest of your life to make this money last as long as you do. And the only way to do that is how you design it. Mm-hmm. If you do Monte Carlo, which is a financial planning tool to calculate retirement planning, you'll see how different scenarios of the markets can affect your probability of retirement.
Right. What are the odds this is going to work out?
You know that Monte Carlo calculation stops at 99%. It never says 100% guaranteed.
Well, it's because it's using the market, and there can be no guarantee when we're talking market.
Yeah. So I just think it's interesting that no matter what, you can't get to 100% probability in a Monte Carlo. Most Monte Carlo studies. I guess there might be one out there.
Well, we want to get as high as we can on our probability, but if we're using some of the things Brian talked about earlier with the annuities, there are guarantees. So as long as the insurance company, makes those payments, then you're good for the rest of your life on those.
Let me tell you about this story. So I'm going on the website with a client. They're in the meeting. In our offices, we have a conference room. We have a big screen TV that we are able to log into the internet. We can log into their 401k plans. And the biggest thing in the 401k plans is they project income out there. Uh-huh. And the clients go, yeah, it says $10,000 a month. And I said, oh, that sounds great. How in the world are you going to do that? And they're like, what do you mean by that, Brian? I said, well, let's see what assumptions they're making on your little software there. And so we went in, and they assumed that you're going to stay in the market making 10% a year was right. One of the ways. I guarantee if you make 10% a year, you're going to do really well in your retirement analysis.
Oh, yeah. But what about the minus 20 year?
Or the 3 years in a row when the market went down?
Right.
What happens then? Well, I'm sorry. So the idea is this. If you're just trusting the 401k website and the calculator they have, I don't think that's really planning. That's sort of just a software for you to gauge.
Right.
You got to dive deep in your planning, and you got to make some very tough decisions when it comes to what is best for you. Sometimes it's tough to get out of the market when things are good. Mm-hmm. This might mean that your company's stock has been doing really well and you have a lot of it in your portfolio, but you got to trim some of it out of there so that you can diversify to preserve your wealth for the worst case scenario.
Right, because we've seen companies over the years, it's great, and then it's not.
And it's not even on a weekend, and it's after hours, you can't fix it.
Right. By the time you know it's not great anymore, you can't get out of it.
So some of the tricks we have in diversifying your portfolio to make sure it's diversified enough to last a lifetime is to use the dividends to buy something else, to stop reinvesting and buying the same thing, to find other ways to diversify your portfolio and not be totally in love and married to one company stock, which does happen in some scenarios.
Right. One stock or even one type of stock sometimes. Some folks just think, tech has been doing great. I just want to own tech.
Sure.
Well, that's great. It'll go up a lot in 1 year, and the next year it'll go down a lot. And that kind of volatility, we don't need that in retirement when we're using that money to live on.
Now, the biggest thing I've seen recently is the market's got the interest rates at the banks and even through the brokered CDs we do and treasuries have been above 5%. Mm-hmm. People get very excited about 5%. Now, I tell them that's a really nice thing, but it's not even beating inflation right now.
Right.
You cannot put all your money that way. Yep. If you need your money to beat inflation over time and pay tax on it, you need to make more than that. You need to have a balance. You had said earlier about some money guaranteed and protected and some money at risk. Mm-hmm. And no matter what you really like portfolio-wise, you might have to stretch yourself to the riskier side or from the risky side to the protected side. You need to have a diversified portfolio to be able to handle these good days and bad days to make it last a lifetime.
Yeah, and even on the risk side, it doesn't mean that we have to sell something to take money out of the portfolio. If we've got dividend-paying stocks, we can use the dividends. We're not forced to sell something to take money out of that portfolio.
Retirement planning is truly a series of making the tough decisions, deciding to buy when things are looking bad, selling when things look great, paying the tax early when you don't want to.
Right.
These are all tough decisions, and we want you, through planning, to learn how to make the tough decisions now. And that's through planning. Now, remember this, that the best part of retirement is going to be getting your time back, where you decide how to use it, where your time is the most valuable thing. It's not your job or other things going on, but your time, how you use your time. Now, commitments, like mainly your job, that all goes away during your retirement years. Your time is now consumed by things that you want to do. It's so easy to begin winning in retirement. You go to our website at acresfinancialgroup.com. That's AKERS financialgroup.com. Scroll to the schedule meeting section and let us know you'd like to schedule a free consultation with one of our team of advisors. That's acresfinancialgroup.com. Or you go ahead and give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting. Go to acresfinancialgroup.com or call us at 833-946-7384 to start planning for your retirement now. Making the playoffs or winning the championship. What does winning in retirement mean to you? We'll explain in a moment.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers, president and founder of Akers Financial Group. And today I have with me Jeff Akers, certified financial planner, practitioner. I've been with Akers Financial Group since day one.
Since the beginning.
Almost 18 years ago. Pretty cool. Now, Akers Financial Group, we have a website, and you go there by typing Akers, AKERS, financialgroup.com. We do have it figured out. If you spell it wrong and you spell it like the land, it actually goes right back to our website, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought that was fun.
That is fun.
But AkersFinancialGroup.com is our website. On there, you'll see a radio tab. Under there, you'll find out about our radio shows. You'll see the recordings of our past shows. You can go back and listen to some of our greatest hits and topics that matter to you based on what's going on in your life right now. The main idea, you can see how we think about things, how we go through things, but you're not going to find your answer there.
Right.
What you got to do is give us a call to schedule a free time with one of our team of advisors to find out your answer, to find out what is the best part of your plan. Because we all know we want to win in retirement. Now, Jeff, the fourth quarter here, we got to bring this all together now. Okay. Today's show is called Make the Tough Decisions Now. Been talking about planning on winning in retirement. The hardest part is how you define this for clients. Now, in sports, we talk about, making the playoffs. That's a great goal.
All right.
Now, some teams, their only goal is to win. I'd say LeBron James is someone like that.
Right. They want the championship, and it's all or nothing.
LeBron James is like, playoffs? Of course, I make the playoffs. Right. And then if he gets to the championship round, a lot of people they're happy they made that. And LeBron's made it many, many times his career. But all that matters is actually winning it.
Right. And at the other end of the spectrum, sometimes there's teams that they're rebuilding, and they just want to make it to 500.
Now, if you have a championship mentality, the idea is all or nothing championship. When you win that championship, it has a great feeling to it.
Right.
And then there's this sort of a depression about it. It's like, okay, I won. Now what?
Right.
And the reality is what you cherish is that whole journey, that journey of getting there, how hard you worked and accomplished all those things.
Right.
That's retirement.
Okay.
That's what winning retirement feels like. When
for you.
Well, you're going way too deep on this, Jeff. Let me go slower for you.
Okay.
All right. So you won a championship. Now, I know you lost your championship in the finals. I was there. Tough game.
Yeah.
But if you had won, you would have been very happy for a moment.
Yeah.
But it wasn't you won't be excited about that championship for the rest of your life. You're going to want more of them.
Right.
Now, in retirement, you think about your journey and how much you saved and how you wanted to get to this point. And then winning in retirement was getting all that built together so you could live out your plan. Now we can get to your side of the subject is now when you are trying to build that plan, you have to decide on what is your version of winning in retirement.
Yeah, what is your championship?
Yeah, right.
I think. Yeah.
It might be winning, what's a new game? Pickleball.
Right. Yeah, pickleball, that's popular among some folks.
Yeah.
It's even on TV now.
Right after cornhole, right? All right. So so the idea is this. You want to win in retirement. Now, what does that mean to you? I believe it's a flexible definition. So we'll let Jeff have his own definition and I'll have mine. All right. So Jeff, just for Jeff Akers, what do you think about winning in retirement?
Well, winning in retirement is going to be just the freedom to travel and go wherever, whenever I would like to.
And not be bound by some people or boss telling you have to work, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, that's financial independence.
Yeah.
So then you're winning in retirement because you're not bound, like you said, you're not bound to anything or tied down.
Yeah, so I love the idea of what winning in retirement is. And so let me talk about that idea. Winning in retirement is knowing where your money's going to come from, how you're going to pay your bills, how you're going to be able to maintain what you're doing already and do more things. Mm-hmm. Financial independent is my version of winning in retirement in that you get to financial independence and you can live your life like that now, where you choose to work as much as you want and you have the balance to do the things that you enjoy doing and want to do or are on that list of bucket lists, whatever type of person you are. You might be, I just want to stay home. I don't really want to go anywhere.
Right. Yeah. People have different definitions of what they want to do. There's grandkids that we want to spend time with. There's staying home. Some people just like tinkering, and dealing with things in the house or in the garage or something. So.
Absolutely. So whatever that is, winning in retirement is getting the finances together so that you can do those things.
Right. And so if everything's in place where you can do your version of winning in retirement, then you've won.
Yeah, sometimes when people are getting ready to retire, they're very worried about can they trust their money, trust their pension, and they don't know if they can let go of their job. Have you ever had that in a situation? Oh,
yeah. There are folks all the time that think, or even if they've already retired, but they want to do something and they think, well, can I do this? That comes up a lot too. So whether it's, I think I might still need to work, do I have to work? and I can talk them through, all right, here's what it looks like if you don't work. Here are the things you can do. Is that what you want? Right up to folks that have already retired. They've got money saved, but they're just worriers. There's a trip that they'd really like to take. It's going to cost money. I don't know if I should do that.
Right.
And we'll look at the numbers and say, you've got plenty. Go ahead. Take the trip. You've wanted to do it for a long time. Do it.
Absolutely. So what is winning in retirement to you when you guys are thinking about it as you're driving around? Winning in retirement. So that means you've stopped working, and what are you doing? I believe having a plan of what that retirement looks like is very, very important. I believe the following. If you don't have a plan, that's still a plan.
Right.
Because it is what it is. Now, is that a good plan, Jeff?
No, the way I've heard that put is if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail.
Oh, I don't want to go negative.
Well, it's negative, though.
I'm just saying that if you just let things go the way it goes, there's going to be a path, and that becomes your plan. You go to Social Security, it is what it is. Yep. Your pension, it is what it is. And the bills come in your checking, it is what it is. And you don't get to add in what you want or what you dream or what you thought it should have been or what it should be.
All right. Retirement turns into what can I afford versus what have I planned to do? What do I want to do?
Yeah. And so we want you to think about things ahead of time, to plan ahead so that you can do the hardest things, make the tougher decisions so that things will be easier on the financial side. So you can choose to do what you want to do in your retirement years. Now, what drives you? What is your purpose behind all of this? What is, like some books would say, what is your why when it comes to saving your money? What is that purpose? What do you think about that, Joe?
Yeah, people have to have a purpose. That's what gives them that desire to pursue a goal. It's good to have a goal out there that they're going for. So if your goal is travel and you say, well, I want to take trips that cost this much, then you want to set aside a travel fund and start saving to it. Other folks say, I want to move somewhere else. You know, you've got to assign the goals and then figure out what's it going to take to get there and make a plan to get there. But having that why, that purpose, is what kind of gives us the motivation then to meet that goal.
Now, I've been trying to wait for you to ask me the question, Jeff, about what's my purpose? What's my why? What's my version of winning in retirement?
I thought your purpose was just to tell me what to do, but that's okay. What's your real purpose?
All right. So what happens is that winning in retirement to me is a balance of life between now and the future. But the idea is this concept of generosity, the ability to be able to give back in every way possible.
Okay. So legacy.
Well, it's a little bit of legacy, not really legacy. It's generosity. Generosity is the ability to give time and money to things that matter most for life now and to the future. Legacy is where it's about a certain thing. It could be about the family. It could be about a company that you created, those kind of things. Those are other legacies that could be built. But the idea of taking what's happened in your life to spread that out over the last years of your life, I think is a very important piece. To really call it winning to me is for that, whatever you've been able to accomplish, to really use that for a long term and to help as many people as possible becomes a great thing in my version of
see it have an impact that's going to last beyond you.
Yeah.
And I think about a particular client who his goal was, I've got this much money, how much do I need? And the rest I want to give away.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's many clients that have lots of priorities, and those priorities become things that motivate them in the retirement years on what they want to do. They go volunteer at those places. They help. They do more of what they enjoy doing during their life. They take I have one client that helps at the Boy Scout camps every year, more and more and more as they had free time. Couldn't wait to retire to be able to have more time to do the work there.
Work at the Boy Scout camp.
Yeah, and just do the things at a camp that no one else will do. Just so that it's done, and they know how valuable that is. So during the healthy retirement years, he was ready to go, and he enjoys that.
Right. Sometimes folks want to volunteer places like that. Sometimes they want to be free to coach grandkids, teams and stuff like that.
And there's so much out there when it comes to trying to build what is your version of winning in retirement. Part of that has to do with planning. You have to have financial plans to be able to design so that you can have the choices in your retirement years. We want winning retirement to be defined by you. And yes, it has to be flexible for you. Right. So that financial plan is for you and your family to design with a financial advisor. And that's how we build our company. That's how we build our plan for each client. And that's how we manage it day by day as people call and we work with them over the years.
Right. So you have a financial fingerprint that's specific to you, and we help you to figure out what that is and then how to meet the goals that you have down the road from that starting point.
If you don't have goals, well, let's spend some time figuring that out too. That's
right.
What takes time, is to get your why, your purpose behind it, understanding that, yes, there's going to be years when you can't work your job, and so you got to be ready for that financially. Thanks, Jeff, for doing the show today.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
My pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you, Mr. Chick-fil-A. All right, so today we covered make the tough decision now. Those tough decisions have to be made now for the worst case scenarios, to make sure you have those covered, at least plan for, and then you invest your money and do your planning to make it last a lifetime. All very, very important. We want you to win in your retirement. So go ahead and take advantage of the opportunity to begin planning with us at Acres Financial Group. To schedule your free meeting with one of our team of advisors, go to our website at acresfinancialgroup.com, scroll to the schedule a meeting section, and let us know you'd like to schedule your free meeting. That's acresfinancialgroup.com. Or you can call us at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting with one of our team of advisors. Start planning for your retirement now. Go to acresfinancialgroup.com or call us at 833-946-7384. Thank you for listening. I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, and we want you to be winning in retirement.
You've been listening to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers of Akers Financial Group. Akers Financial Group offers securities through Archedios Capital, an SIPC and FINRA member firm. Advisory services are provided through Archedios Wealth. Akers Financial Group and Archedios do not share any common ownership. Neither Archedios nor Akers Financial Group provides tax or legal advice. Advice given on winning in retirement is general in nature, and one should seek further advice from their financial advisor, broker, attorney, and/or tax accountant before investing. Be sure to read each prospectus carefully to understand all the risks associated with each investment. Examples and scenarios shared are meant to be for illustrative purposes only. Past performance is not indicative of future results.